Hey, I'm Jonathan,
And I'm Josh.
and we just want to talk to you today about the cycle for sports training and how to properly get you moving in the best way, the most efficient way to make you the best athlete you can possibly be for your sport.
So what we see here is the cycle that you would ideally go through a season. Most people just focus on this specific aspect of the sport. That's going to be your skill work, your agility, everything that has to do with your specific sport, whether it's volleyball, basketball, track, whatever it may be. What we want to talk about today are three things that people usually miss out on their training cycle. So we're going to focus on correcting dysfunctions, strength training, and power development, and how they relate to sport, and why each individual thing is important. So starting with dysfunction, most people nowadays, they present some sort of dysfunction, whether it's in the lower body, upper body, and that can make big impacts on how you play your sport, whether you're an overhead athlete throwing or you're a sprinter, and how your lumbopelvic hip complex works. It can all come into play with how well you do in your sport. So the first thing that we focus on here at Leg Normal Fitness Specialists is always correcting any type of dysfunction in the kinetic chain.
So we see that a lot. Like I said, every sport there's, for instance, let's say you are a field hockey player and you're bent over a lot. Well, you might have some back pain, you might have some rounded shoulders. We got to work on that, get you evened out. If you're a baseball player, you're doing a whole lot of internal rotation. We got to work on strengthening that shoulder, strengthen your stabilizers to where you can throw more properly without pain. If you're a pitcher, throwing more pitches, you can get more reps in and we have more power out of that. That's what we're going to get into a bit later. But setting that solid foundations, making sure that you move properly before we throw in harder exercises for you. Same thing with any kind of field athlete or volleyball player. If you're bent down, you're trying to get power from the glutes and you're trying to get a strong jump. If you don't have the right power in the glutes, then we need to work on that. So we're correcting the right muscles by strengthening the correct muscles and correcting those movement patterns so you'll have a solid foundation. And that's where we can go into more of the strength part. So once we get you moving in the right way with strengthening the right muscles, doing the right mobility exercises, then you can properly get in that position. Then once we can do that, then we'll talk about more of the strength part.
So with the strength training aspect, we want to really focus on setting you up with a strong foundation. If you're weak, if you can't generate strength in your kinetic chain, then that's going to transfer into your sport, and you're not going to be as fast, you're not going to be as powerful, and you're not going to perform as well. So strength training encompasses all the basic human movements. We go over hinging, squatting, overhead pressing, horizontal pressing, vertical pulling, and horizontal pulling to make sure that we're hitting every aspect of the kinetic chain and keeping everything in balance so that we can lead into the next aspect, which is power development.
In power development, you're thinking explosiveness. So for a basketball player, for instance, a high vertical jump or a long jump, a powerful throw, all those are what you're talking about power. So when you see that running back and he has a strong burst of speed or something like that, that's all power related. And for us, what we'd be doing here is working on more of those explosive movements. But again, you cannot go to explosive movements before you have the strength in place and after that's already been corrected. So once you have that solid foundation, you have the correct movement patterns, that's when we can go on to the power and get you more results that you want as far as, again, the higher vertical leap, the stronger output, and everything that you're doing. So, and then once that's in place, then you can go on to more sport-specific skill activity.
So when you're in season, this is what you focus on: your sport-specific skill work, your agility. You're maintaining, ideally you want to maintain all of these other things while you're in season. Off season, this is what you want to focus on: correcting that dysfunction, getting that strength, power, all that developed so that it makes you a better athlete in your sport.
And this is a complete cycle. So you see that it goes back to correct dysfunction. A lot of times during the season, you're going to get banged up. You're going to have some injuries here and there. You can't focus as much on this stuff during the season as you would like to be able to because you're so focused on winning games and performing at your best. So a lot of times after the season, it's a great time to get, check it out. Am I moving right? That kind of stuff. So that way you can set yourself up to be better than you were this season for next season. So that's where we're at with that. And it's just a cycle. You got to always stay on top of it and make sure if you don't know what you're doing, ask a coach or ask someone who does know, ask for some help. So want to make you the best athlete you can be. And I'm sure that's, I wish I knew all that stuff when I was that age. I know I've been a better athlete if I could have done that. So that's what we have a passion for, is helping people just reach their full athletic potential. So, and the biggest thing is all this stuff is going to prevent injuries as well, which is huge. So you can't be on the field when you're hurt. So
that's it for our first video here. Check back in. We'll have more stuff on each individual aspect and how that makes you a better athlete. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.